how to make sweet and sour pork vegan. This is in Korea we call it TangSuYook. So TangSuYook is often served at like a Chinese restaurant that's kind of been Koreanized. So there's a lot of Chinese nationals that moved to South Korea and then started living there, and now they have second, third, fourth generation of people living in Korea. So and a lot of them have Chinese restaurants there, and there's a dish that's called Jjajangmyun. Jjajangmyun is basically made with fermented black bean paste, and we make a sauce with it and serve it with noodles. So oftentimes TangSuYook is served with Jjajangmyeon. It's like the Jjajangmyeon is the dish you eat, and TangSuYook is something you share with a bunch of people. So we're gonna start with the TangSuYook, and we're gonna start the pork part. So just like our fried chicken meat from the Korean fried chicken video, we have 2 cups of vital wheat gluten here. Then I have the chickpeas with the liquid that I'm just gonna add to my blender. So this one we modified it a little. We're gonna add another cup of water directly to the chickpeas. Then we're gonna add our 2 tablespoons of miso, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder. Then we're gonna puree it until it's soft. We're gonna puree it until it's smooth. So once it's puree, we're gonna add this to our vital wheat gluten. Oh, this smells so good. So once we have this here, we're gonna mix it up. So the key difference between the chicken seitan, this is what we call seitan in the vegan world, is that this will have twice the amount of liquid, and we're going to also bake this instead of steaming it and or boiling it in like a water or vegetable broth. So that's why we want this a little more liquidy. We're going to mix this up, because when we slice this up into bite-sized pieces and coat it with the cornstarch to fry it, if we like boiled it, it would fall apart on us. So instead of falling, we want it a little firmer, so it won't make a giant mess. Oh, the other thing I forgot in here was the salt. We're gonna add 2 teaspoons of salt. So you can add the salt right in with the chickpeas. I have really fine salt here, so this will dissolve into my seitan easily. See, the difference here is that between the chicken and the fried chicken video and the recipe that I did right now is a lot softer, and it's more hydrated. So once we have our seitan, I have a piece of parchment paper and foil. So we're gonna shape this kind of like shape up like a pork tenderloin. I'm gonna make it a little longer. So think about cutting this up into strips that are like 2-inch long strip and maybe about ½ an inch wide. So we're gonna shape it 2-inch long like this, and then we're gonna wrap this in the, see a little dimple here. We're gonna try to get it as full without any like crevices. That way it'll be easier to so it won't kind of like break apart on us when we slice it. And the one to wrap it up. Then it goes into the oven at around 350 to 375 degrees for about an hour. So we're gonna let this go, and then we'll come back later and put the dish together. Okay? Okay, now we have our texture vegetable protein. I mean the texture. Our seitan that's been baking in the oven for an hour, and you'll see that it's firmer. Well, a little firmer than the seitan we made for the chicken. So I'm gonna take our knife. I'm gonna slice this into strips. Ooh, it's really hot. Let it cool before you do this part. So we're gonna cut it into 1/2-inch strip by 2-inch, so that we'll have pieces like this. So if you let it cool, you can cut it lengthwise and then just cut it into 2-inch pieces. I'm doing it while it's hot, so. And you'll see why we want these a little firmer than the when we did the fried chicken recipe, because we're going to coat it with cornstarch. And if this seitan is a little too soft, it'll just crumble and break on us, and it's gonna be like a ground meat, kind of like effect. So I cut just about half. Actually throw this into my freezer so that it'll cool down and get a little firmer before I start to work on the frying part. And plus it'll give me a chance to heat up my oil while I'm waiting for this to cool. I'll see you in a bit. So while our seitan is cooling, I'm going to make the sauce for the sweet and sour pork dish. So we have I have about 1.5 cup of water. I'm gonna reserve some of it for my slurry. So I have about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm gonna pour some water in here from the 1.5 cups. Then I'm gonna add about 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and 1/4 cup of vinegar. Then I have 1/4 cup of large diced onions, I have about a cup of cucumber, quarter cup of sliced carrots, 1/4 cup of diced bell peppers. This is a lot of vegetables. You could cut the vegetables in half, okay? And I'm just gonna put about 1/2 cup of Napa cabbage in large diced sauce. And I have two of the green onions. And some wood ear mushroom, about 1/4 cup. Actually, I'm gonna double the liquid because this is way too much vegetable. And this will make the amount for the TVP that or the seitan that we're gonna fry. So we're gonna add we're gonna basically double the recipe for the liquid only. So before I add my cornstarch slurry, we're gonna let this come to a boil, but I'm gonna taste it first. Make sure the sugar's melted before you taste it. Or are you gonna taste the soy sauce and like the vinegar part? So good. I taste the vegetables already as the liquid is heating up. So as this comes to a boil, we don't want the vegetables cooked too much. We still want the vegetables to be kind of like parboil. We want them to have slight give but still be crunchy. And so basically when this comes to a boil, you're gonna add our cornstarch slurry. I'm not gonna add all of it. This is about 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. But I'm gonna add half to see the consistency that I want. You've all had sweet and sour sauce, right? From that red color from like Panda Express and every other American Chinese restaurant. You know, those fast food. Yeah, this is basically Korean version of the Chinese sweet sour pork. So it's about to come to a boil. I'm gonna stir my slurry up. Okay, this is looking great. I'm gonna add about half first. Okay, I'll probably have to put all of it. So 4 tablespoons is right. I'd rather be safe than sorry, you know? If you put too much, then you're gonna have to make more of this sauce without the slurry, and then you're gonna have to try to adjust it. So this is perfect. Oh, look at that. Now, if you wanted to make lemon chicken, all you do is add some lemon juice. Take out some of the vinegar and add lemon juice to this, and add slices of lemon in here, and you will have the most delicious lemon chicken. But our chicken is going to be seitan chicken, right? So it's going to be vegan lemon chicken. This is done. Look at this. The sauce is nice and thick. Oh. So the sauce can be done ahead of time. Okay, now we're gonna fry the seitan. Okay, so I have our cooled down seitan right here. So when you usually have this dish, they take like the fatty piece of the pork, and so when you're eating it, you feel like you taste the meat, and then there's that chewy part and soft squishy part of the fat, so you're getting like different textures. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to mimic that with shiitake mushrooms also. So I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of minced ginger to my seitan, and I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of soy sauce. I'm also going to add a little soy sauce to my mushrooms. I have about 2 cups of shiitake mushrooms. So in this bowl, I have about 1.5 cups of cornstarch, and I just wet it enough so that and then I let it sit. So there's about 1/4 inch of water on top, and I'm just gonna discard that water. So all you're left is the cornstarch, and it's like, you know, like when you get sand wet and on the bottom it becomes really hard. So you try to loosen this up. Okay. I'm gonna be half. I put some in here. It looks like a kid's science project. So I'm just gonna pick it up and put it in here. So I'm gonna put half into my seitan. This is why we needed the seitan to be a little firm. And then the other half will go into our mushroom. So once you have the cornstarch mixture, you're gonna toss it. Once the temperature of your oil is around 400, I'm gonna take 1 piece each of the seitan and mushroom and kind of like put it in together. And basically you're frying it until it's golden brown. We don't have to worry about the pork. When you cook with pork, you have to worry that, you know, it has to cook all the way, right? With this, we just want the color crispy outside, and it's done. Okay. But the first one we put in there, oh, look at that. It's already getting golden brown and crispy. The cornstarch will want to make everything stick together, so kind of break it apart. But don't break apart the mushroom and the seitan, our fake pork. This is gonna be yummy. Oh, look at that. Look how crispy that looks. Delicious. We're gonna take it out and let the oil drain. And go ahead with our second batch. Now we're gonna plate our sweet and sour pork made with our seitan and our mushrooms. So I mean, like, for me, this is more than enough. And so there's like at least 3 to 4 portions here if you're gonna share this and eat it with the jjajangmyeon. Then we have our sweet and sour sauce. Just pour it right on top. Then here we have our sweet and sour pork. Now to enjoy this, they'll normally serve you raw onions like this, but we pour vinegar over the raw onion. And that's gonna help kind of take away that harsh onion flavor, the vinegar. And then they usually give you a side of this, the black bean sauce right from the jar. So take apart the onion. And you would take this, dip it into the black bean sauce. Just like the restaurant, but better. And then you would mix up the noodles like this. Oh yeah. So you can put pretty much any kind of vegetable you want, but the vegetables that I put in are the traditional vegetables they put in here. It traditionally has a lot of onions. It gives it a lot of flavor. So once the noodle is coated like this, I shouldn't have worn white when I'm eating this, but it's laundry day, so this is the only clean shirt that kind of fits. Until I lose my COVID weight, I can't wear my other shirts, it's too tight. So I'm gonna take this. Mmm. And then I'm gonna take an onion. Okay, to eat the sweet and sour pork, we usually put some vinegar on a plate with some soy sauce and a little bit of chili powder. This is the same chili powder I used to make kimchi with. But if you want to put cayenne, you can put cayenne. So it will enhance the flavor of this sweet and sour pork. Even though this already has sugar and soy sauce in it, I'm gonna taste it without. See, the mushroom and the seitan has been sitting a while, but it's still crunchy. It's really delicious, but once you dip it in this, it makes it even more delicious. People ask me all the time, don't you miss eating meat? I'm like, no. Because I know how to make things like this. Best part of knowing how to make this is that I know no animal have to die so that I can enjoy food like this. See how crispy it is? delicious. See, I got sauce all over me already. That's what I get for wearing white. All done. I'm gonna have to eat this later as a snack. I'm just so full right now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Oh my god, it's so delicious. Make sure you try to make it at home. Let me know how things go. If you don't have a KitchenAid, yeah, you can do it by hand. But just know that the noodle can be a little tricky if you put too much water. So again, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already and press the like button and share it with all your friends. I don't know what I want to do with the next video. Maybe a dessert? Maybe I'll do I don't know, I'll think of something. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time, okay? Bye!